Welcome back. Today is an AFC South breakdown video. I'm going to give you the order I think they're going to finish in the division, starting from last, working my way up to first. I'm going to tell you who's going to be the MVP of the division and who is going to have their breakout year. Let's kick it off. Fourth place, I'm sorry, I think this team's good. Now, before I get into it, everyone in the AFC South has an argument to win the division, an argument that team should finish last instead of them. That's how jam-packed this group is. So when I was picking these teams to finish in this order, I had to pick the quarterbacks. So I'm really just ranking the quarterbacks here because this is how I thought of everything. Was I take this quarterback over this guy out? Who do I trust in 2-minute warning situation? I trust that guy, I trust that guy, I trust that guy. And I'm putting the Jaguars down here. Listen, Nick Foles had a magical run with the Eagles. Magical. But something about Nick that he's only succeeded in Philadelphia. Now, I know they brought John DeFilippo, but history shows he has struggled outside of Philadelphia. That's one thing against Nick Foles. The other argument I'm going to have against Jaguars, I don't think Leonard Fournette's going to be consistently healthy this year. He's proven he's had injury issues already. He's also proven he's had disciplinary issues with the team. He got suspended for a team photo. He got ejected for a fight last year with Shaq Lawson. Leonard Fournette has had his issues. And I think Leonard Fournette's a great young running back. I think he could dominate the league. I think he could be the best. Well, hang on, Saquon Barkley's here. I think he could be the second best running back in the league. But he's way too inconsistent for me to like. He's either hurt or he's doing something stupid. But when he's fine, when he's on the field, he is a producer. And let's talk about another position group I have questions about for the Jaguars. Who do they have to throw the ball to? Who? I honestly have no clue at this rate. Marquise Lee always winds up injured. And D.D. Westbrook, I thought he was going to have a breakout year last year. He did not. Maybe this is his year, but I just don't see it. The Jaguars have questions with the receiving group that I'm not buying into. They have bigger questions than any other team for me personally. Defensively, I'll give the Jaguars a break. I'm not going to ridicule their defense. Their defense will be dominant, and it will destroy teams. I don't see the AFC South really being that bad of a division. The reason why I'm picking the Jaguars to go last is because I don't know Nick Foles if he'll have success outside of Philadelphia. I think this team is 6-10 on the year. It's a good record for really a newer coach. I think Doug Marrone is fired after this year. I think they have to bring in a different offensive mind. Now let's go to the third place team. And like I said, this is really a quarterback ranking, so I'm having the Tennessee Titans here. The Tennessee Titans have something that I just like about them this year. I like Mike Vrabel as a coach. He's probably my second favorite coach in this division. I'll talk about my favorite coach when I get to them. But I think Vrabel is a good coach, and he proved that last year. The Titans hardly ever penalized. They made smart decisions, and he always really coached a good game. He knew when to go for it. Like, for example, in London, he went for 2 when he knew he had to. You're not beating the Chargers in OT. You're not beating Phillip Rivers in overtime. When Phillip Rivers is going, he is lights out. You're not beating him in overtime. I think Vrabel's makes smart decisions, and I think that will help elevate the Titans above the Jaguars. Another reason why I think the Titans are elevated above the Jaguars, Marcus Mariota. And Mariota has health issues, which is why I don't think he's reached his full potential yet. But for example, that 2-game stretch when he was healthy last year against Dallas, New England, he looked like a franchise guy. That's the guy you build the franchise around. And when I saw those 2 games, I'm like, he still has that in him. He needs to get that out. And I think this is a stepping point in that right direction. Now, the reason why I'm kind of scared is just this week, Taylor Lewan got suspended for 4 games. And if you haven't watched his video on Twitter explaining it, I highly recommend you watch it. I don't know what to think, really. It could be something happening you didn't know about, or he could be making it up. He could be a very good actor. But I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. This is the first time he's ever been suspended. I'm gonna believe Taylor Lewan here. Now, should he be suspended? Yes, for 4 games. I don't know. I think 2 would have been fine. 3 would have been perfect. I think they should have done 3 games, but 4 games out of Taylor Lewan, that's a big loss for the Titans because he is their best offensive lineman by a long shot. Titans also have Derrick Henry, who started to look really good last year. At the end of the year, he looked good. He looked like what everyone thought he was coming out of Alabama. The guy that no one can tackle. The D-end playing running back. And I hope he can succeed that because he is a fun running back to watch, and I really enjoy watching him play football. A position group, I think the Titans improved wide receivers. Now, Corey Davis, I'm not sure. He's kind of entering bust territory, and I'm going to give him till the end of his contract. If they pick up his 5th-year option, I'll give him that year, but currently he's got the 4 years. And he showed potential last year, but all he showed is potential. He had a couple good games. He had a great game against the Eagles, which kind of raised my eyebrows, but nothing outside of that, really. But why do I think they upgrade their wide receiver group? I love A.J. Brown coming out of Ole Miss. He was my number 1 ranked receiver. I thought he was better than N'Keal Harry, DK Metcalf, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. I thought he was the best one of the bunch. And when I saw the Titans got him, I was excited to watch him play because I think that's the perfect receiver for Marcus Mariota. I think A.J. Brown is a dark horse candidate to win Rookie of the Year, which I will talk about in an article I'm writing predicting the season awards that will be posted on August 1st during the Hall of Fame. Well, not during the Hall of Fame game, before. Cheap plug, I'll say that for later. But I look at the Titans, I think they have a good defense. Jarrell Casey is a good player. They added Cameron Wake, good edge rusher. Kevin Byard, great safety, just got paid. Happy to see that. I think the Titans are an underrated team. And I think they might be someone to watch out for. They could sneak in the playoffs, but currently I look at them as 8-8. My second place team, and who I actually have sneaking into the wild card, the Houston Texans. Like I said, I was ranking this based off quarterbacks. And as much as I love Deshaun Watson, in most divisions, I might pick the Texans to win because I love Deshaun Watson. I just couldn't pass him up over Andrew Luck. And I'll get to why I love Andrew Luck in a couple of minutes. But why do I think the Texans are the second place team and a wild card team? It's plain and simple. Deshaun Watson takes the next step this year. I think Watson could be a dark horse MVP candidate. He is a great young quarterback that got hurt. Like it or not, people are not the same the first year after an injury. That's just how it is. How Andrew Luck performed at that level last year surprised me. I expected him to be good. He was great. Deshaun Watson, he was good. But now I'm expecting him to be great. I'm expecting him to take that leap forward. I don't think people remember this, but he had all this Patrick Mahomes hype before Patrick Mahomes even played down in the NFL. Deshaun Watson is, in my opinion, the best quarterback from that class. I think he's better than Mitch. I think he's better than Mahomes. I think Watson's got the benefit of having DeAndre Hopkins to throw the ball to for touchdowns this year. I also think a healthy receiver group with Will Fuller and getting some other guys back that they lost. Kuti was a big loss last year for them. He's a great slot receiver. I think you get all those guys back. I think they gel as a group better. Now, one question mark on this team is the offensive line. And there are 2 question marks, but that's on the defensive side. I'll get to that in a second. But their offensive line, I hope they take a leap forward. They drafted, and I can't say his name off the top of my head, out of Alabama State, a tackle. It looked like more of a panic move. It looked like they wanted Andre Dillard, but they got him instead. I think the line will improve some, but I don't think it's a gigantic leap for them. But you look at their defense. Their defense should be good. They have J.J. Watt and Whitney Merciless. But the question mark on the defensive side, where's Jadeveon Clowney? Where is Clowney? Clowney will show up. I still think Clowney will show up. And if they trade him, they're going to get first-round picks. So they will kind of get equal value for him. But why do I think Clowney will show up? Because he loves the game of football. And he's proven that. He loves playing defense. If you watch him when he plays football, you see how excited he is. You see how energetic he is. He loves hitting people on the football field. And that's why I think he'll come back and play. Also, J.J. Watt, candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. J.J. Watt, he'll be entering this year healthy. Last year, he was coming off a fractured tibia, I believe, if that's correct. That's a painful injury, and that cannot be easy to rehab. I've never fractured my tibia, nor do I plan to. So, props to J.J. Watt. He had a good year last year, and I expect him to make the leap back to J.J. Watt. Secondary. They did lose Kevin Johnson, but they replaced him with Bradley Roby. That's really just a swap of talents. There's not really that big of a talent difference I see with them personally. Kevin Johnson maybe a little bit, but it would be very slight at the latest. The loss for them to worry about is Tyrann Mathieu, who he's not needed with Justin Reed back there. I mean, this Texans team is loaded from top to bottom the defense. They should not worry about their defense at all. And if they can't get Jadeveon Clowney back, trade him, get some assets back, you'll be fine. You have a good quarterback to lead you to the playoffs. Now my division winner, the Indianapolis Colts. Well, for one, I think Andrew Luck has a phenomenal year this year. I'm just going to say that right here. I think Marlon Mack has the best year of his career behind that offensive line. Quentin Nelson is a monster that I love watching block because he just mauls people to the ground. It's like watching a bear go against a bunny. It's just unfair, and it's entertaining to watch. The defense side needs to improve, though. And I do see the Colts getting a bye in the playoffs. But that needs to happen. The defense needs to improve for that to happen. And I think Justin Houston will help them a bit. I think Darius Leonard needs to take a step. I think Hooker needs to take a step. I think Rock Ya-Sin, the cornerback they drafted at Temple, he needs to play like I think he's going to play. I think Ya-Sin will be a great corner in this NFL. He needs to play that way. Not immediately. He can struggle a bit because he is a rookie, and you got to understand that. But I expect him to be a great corner in the NFL. I expect to see some of that potential this year and have some really good games. Now, why do I think the Colts are the best team in this division? Andrew Luck. He is the best quarterback in this division. He is top 10, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I am not betting against Andrew Luck if healthy. Now, if Andrew Luck gets hurt, I'm dropping him to last place. I take the Texans to win the division. And overall, I think this team is more well-rounded than most. I don't really see a big glaring flaw in them like I do with the Texans, the offensive line, the Titans. I see some issues in their linebacking core due to losing Derek Morgan and Brian Arakpo. The Jaguars, inconsistency, the wide receiver group. I don't really see that with the Colts. Maybe the only thing can knock them is an experienced head coach. And Frank Reich proved he was a pretty good coach last year. Just ran into a really good Chiefs team off a bye week. I think the Colts win the division, and I think they have Now, my breakout player of the year, Deshaun Watson. I kind of already gave it away, but I'm going to give you some more reasons why I think he's going to break out. Number one, I love Bill O'Brien as a head coach. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I can't think of a better coach on the market than Bill O'Brien. If he gets fired, a team's going to come a-calling immediately. A team with a young quarterback. Maybe the Redskins, for example, if they fire Jay Gruden, working with Dwayne Haskins. I think Bill O'Brien's worked great with these journeyman quarterbacks, and now he's working with Deshaun Watson. He's having more consistency at the quarterback position, which is why I expect Watson to take a big leap. Watson came into the NFL after winning a national championship against Alabama. It's a pretty good resume right there. He had to beat out Tom Savage to be the starting quarterback, which, I don't even know where Tom Savage is right now. That shows you how impressive that is. But Watson showed out the first 6 weeks. And if you don't remember, just go back and watch the Seahawks game. Go back and watch that game. That was Deshaun Watson, his rookie year. He was a shoo-in for Rookie of the Year. He was fun to watch. Then he got injured. He tore his ACL. Then he's coming back. His offensive line, meh. He got beat up bad last year. He had lung issues last year, and he still played and won football games. Now imagine him fully healthy. Imagine a healthy Deshaun Watson performing week in, week out with DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, Kuti. Now, their tight end position, it's a train wreck. Their offensive line position, it's a train wreck. They need to improve those positions for him to be an MVP candidate, for them to go to the Super Bowl. But they will be a playoff team because of Deshaun Watson's ability to throw the ball, ability to escape the pocket with that O-line. He is a great young quarterback, and I think he's the best from that class, as I said earlier. I think Watson's really going to turn some heads this year, and I think he's going to prove to everyone that he is the next great quarterback in the NFL. Now, my MVP of the AFC South Division, Andrew Luck. This is not hard. I think the Colts will be a bye for the playoffs. In order for that to happen, Andrew Luck has to play phenomenally, which I think he can do. He's got a great O-line. He's got Quentin Nelson. He's got Ryan Kelly. He's got an improved offense line than he had a couple years ago, which we saw last year. He's got Eric Ebron, who had a good year last year with him. You could argue great year. Eric Ebron looked what the Lions thought they were getting with Eric Ebron, selecting him at number 10. He's got T.Y. Hilton, who has been with the Colts for a couple years, who has produced for a couple years. T.Y. Hilton and Andrew Luck know each other. They know what to expect from each other. They have that chemistry. Deebo Samuel, he's a good young prospect. Do I know if he's going to be great? No, I don't know about Deebo Samuel. I'm not sold as everyone else is on him. I think he's good. I don't know if he's great. But I think he'll help Andrew Luck out. I think Luck will get him the ball. And I think he's going to help T.Y. Hilton a bit because when you have this shifty guy in the slot moving around, you're maybe going to have to glare at him. If you're the safety, you're going to have to come down and help, which is going to let T.Y. Hilton go over the top on you. And let's also not forget, having a running game, having play action, that always helps a quarterback out. Marlon Mack runs the ball successfully. You run play action. You get your guys behind the defenders. You get the big chunk plays. You get down the field. You score touchdowns. It's not hard to figure out that Andrew Luck's got a lot of things going for him. Now, the only concern for him is health. He didn't really take off that much last year. I think he's learning from what he did when he was younger. He used to take off a lot. He used to take a lot of unnecessary hits, which is why Russell Wilson's been healthy, which is why Carson Wentz has been injured, because you can notice the quarterbacks that know to protect themselves. Andrew Luck really didn't protect himself. He just let his body absorb it, which over time hurts your body. You need to protect yourself, which he learned last year. He threw more balls away. Instead of trying to make the big play, instead of throwing the interception, he threw balls away. He learned his lesson, and unfortunately, it was a good thing he got hurt then to learn his lesson to become a better quarterback in the NFL. Now, something to also be considered, he did this coming off an injured collarbone when he wasn't really able to throw for a long majority of the offseason last year. He's been able to throw. He's been able to keep his arm in shape. He's been able to work on it. Make sure he throws the ball better. He's got that extra time he didn't have last year to work everything out, to work out all the kinks. I think Andrew Luck is the hands-down MVP choice in the AFC South this year. He's the best quarterback, and he's probably the best talent in that division this year.